All right, so this is the video for the 1-point perspective 3D letters option. First thing you need to do is imagine that your page is divided into 2/3, and you're gonna draw a horizontal line across the bottom third. So make sure your ruler is parallel to the edge of your page by matching the line on the notch of the 0 and the line on the notch of the 12, making sure that they're in line with the edge of the page, and go ahead and draw your really light guideline. It's okay if it's not exactly 1/3 from the bottom of the page, close enough. Now I'm gonna go ahead and make my second guideline. This is gonna be just below my spirals at the top of my page, making sure my ruler is horizontal, and I'm gonna go ahead and draw my guideline nice and light. So these lines are light because they're not staying here. So I'm gonna go ahead now and start by drawing out my word. Now, if you have not mastered block letters yet, that's okay. I have some handouts that can help you. You're gonna have to practice on those before you can do your good copy. But for now, we're just experimenting with rough, so don't worry if you can't draw block letters perfectly yet. You can follow along with me. We're gonna wanna find our middle letter of our word. If we were doing a longer word, we might have 2 middle letters if it was an even numbered lettered word, but we're just doing the word art, which is 3 letters, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and choose the middle. That's where the letter R is going to go. So I'm going ahead and drawing my block letter R. It's okay if it's not perfect. You'll notice I'm using these very sketchy lines where I'm not pressing too hard because I want to make sure it's right before I go ahead and press too hard. And I'm just doing a very general block. I've also got, because I'm doing these sketchy lines, I can erase if I'm not happy with maybe the width or the height. I feel like these two should be at the same point, so I'm just gonna go lower. Anyway, this is just your rough, so don't worry about it being perfect. We're just practicing. All right, so let's say that I'm happy with my block letter R here. I just need to do the middle, and what you'll notice is the middle pieces are always in line with the outside edges as well, so you can use that to help you. And now I've got my middle letter in there. I'm gonna go ahead and do my other 2 letters. So I've got a T over here. I'm going to try and keep the thickness approximately the same. May not be perfect, and that's okay. And the vertical part of my T, and then my A. I'll do a flat top of the A. You can do it however you'd like. You want to make it pointy, make it pointy. All right, there we go. I've done the base of my letters. Now I can just erase any mistakes if I made them and move on to the next step. The next step would actually be to get rid of my guidelines because I no longer need them. What they did was made sure that all of my letters started and stopped at the same spot. Okay, now that I've erased my guidelines, I can go over each of my letters a little bit stronger with my pencil, just so that I can see better, and I can also use a ruler this time just to straighten out all my edges. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, let's go ahead and make our letters 3D. So the first thing you need to do is create a vanishing point at the bottom of the page. When you're doing your good copy, you could actually make it at the top, the bottom left, bottom right, wherever you want. So when you're exploring with your rough sketches, make sure you try some different spots for your vanishing point. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take the bottoms of each of the letters and bring them down to our vanishing point. The bottoms are quite easy. And remember, if you have a curve on the bottom of your letter when you're doing your good copy, you're just going to make sure that you are lining up your ruler to the edge of that curve. So you can see here I'm making sure I'm lined up, just like with the cubes, lined up to the vanishing point and lined up to a corner. All right, so I finished all the bottoms of each of these letters. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tackle one letter at a time. So you can see I tried starting with the A earlier and I made a couple mistakes, so I just re-recorded this video, but let's pretend we don't know that. So let's go ahead and look at the inside bends of the A. So when we're doing letters, just like when we were doing those shapes, we're also gonna tackle the bends. So let's go ahead and start with this bend, which we can see for sure can hit the vanishing point, but we're gonna stop at the end of our letter. Okay, we would not be able to see the way this bend goes through because it wouldn't go through this letter. And then up here, oh, I've already created this little bend for this corner. It's very, very tiny, hard to see it. And then for the top corner, we're gonna go to our vanishing point, but as you can see, we're gonna hit our R, and we're not gonna wanna go through that. So we're gonna stop right there because our R is in front of our A. Just fix that line there. Okay. Now we can go ahead and do the bends of our R. So let's go ahead and see if this bend will connect, and it will. All right, so we finished the inside of our R. Now let's go ahead and look over at the T. So we finished the bottom of the T. We now need to do the bends. So this bend can for sure hit my vanishing point, but it's gonna stop at our R. And then we're gonna go ahead and do the corners, stopping at our R, so we're not going through it. And then the top corner will also go perfectly. And now let's go ahead and do this side. So we cannot go from this bend because it will immediately go through our letter. So we're gonna go ahead and do this corner, which I didn't really finish, but let's finish it now. Okay, corner to vanishing point, line. And there we have it. There are my 3D letters. And now it's time to think about adding color.